Hey guys, welcome to Neat Movie News. My name is Dean Thomas.
His name is Dean. We like Dean.
And in theaters this weekend is the new Ben Affleck movie, The Accountant.
He has more in common with Einstein or Mozart than he does with us. I'd like to work with your son. Help him develop the skills he'll need to lead a full life.
It's not going to happen. The world is not a friendly place, and that's where he needs to learn to live.
I have been looking forward to this movie for a really long time. I thought all the trailers looked really cool and interesting and intricate, and the fact that it's starring Ben Affleck, and you also have Gavin O'Connor directing, who directed movies like Miracle and Warrior. So he really knows how to get, some of the best emotional stuff out of these normally sports movies. So I was curious to see him kind of tackle this. And what I do want to say right off the bat is the trailers for this movie sell it very much as a pure action movie, but the reality is there's definitely some action and some really cool action, but this isn't necessarily a fast-paced, go 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 sort of action movie. The action is sprinkled in here and there, and they're not like overly long scenes necessarily either. It's more about the main character Christian Wolf, kind of what he's been going through, kind of building his character, and then kind of going through the plot. Now, first of all, I guess I'll start with some of my negatives. That way I can end on a positive. So, initially, what I will say about this movie is I thought the plot was actually a little too overly complex. Like, it tried to be a little too smart and intricate with what was all going on, the dealings. They were trying to keep certain things a mystery, which they didn't explain everything, but I think that was on purpose. But there was times where I felt like I had to fill in the blanks, and I was trying to just come to conclusions, which I think I did overall. But I didn't feel like the movie really explained itself fully and really gave you exactly what you needed to know at all times. And part of that reason I thought too is a couple of the characters I thought were a little wasted, especially J.K. Simmons' character, who's like the head of the Treasury Department, I believe, something along those lines. And his role was basically just to explain plot details when need be. Like that's basically all his role was. So that was kind of disappointing, and I thought that was kind of a little bit of a cop out, just to have him spill exposition for us. And then maybe my last negative is most of the action in this movie is really cool, but there's one set piece of action that gets more into like gunfire and stuff, and I thought they didn't really establish the scenery where we were at because I had a hard time figuring out because it's on this property of a house, and it's kind of like where's Ben Affleck's character, where's Christian Wolf in regards to the other gunman, to the house, where at the house is he? None of that felt real established, so I wasn't really sure what was going on, where we were at, and it was kind of hard to follow. So that was one of the problems I had with that. Just that one particular action scene. That's kind of a nitpick, to be honest with you. But I did feel that while watching it. But now let's get into the positives of this. And first of all, the performances are really great because Christian Wolf is a high functioning autistic man, maybe with Asperger's a little bit. And that could have been a dangerous character play where you could have gone a little to the top, maybe even offensive in a way. But Ben Affleck really pulled it off. You really believe the character, and I wanted to know so much more. That's the thing about this movie is I want this to become a franchise because there's so many different stories you could tell with Christian Wolf and what he's gone through that I really really want to see more of him because it's so interesting and his life is so there's so much to it. And that was the other part I liked about this movie is that how it introduced you and really told you who Christian Wolf was, who's really the small time accountant, but he's got some really big time clients and he's gotten into a lot of stuff. He's got a really troubled background with his dad who was in the army and kind of pushed him to be kind of extraordinary because he had overcome so much with his autism and that his dad kind of pushed him into a lot of the stuff. And this movie uses a lot of flashbacks to tell that story, that side of things when he was a kid. And I really liked that. And I liked the way they intertwined them into the story. And I thought it really did a good job of showing you what happened to him as a kid. And that would explain why he's doing the things he's doing now in the present time during the movie. So I thought that was a very cool way of telling the story. And then the action was, although like I said, kind of limited, I really, really liked it. There's a lot of hand-to-hand combat, and Ben Affleck did most of his stunts in this, and it was really cool. It was visceral, it was violent, it was quick, there was momentum and strength and ferocity to it. And every time I saw it, I just, man, I want to see Ben Affleck back in that bat suit, just taking criminals out. because the action scenes in this were really cool. There's kind of some John Wick moments with all the headshots he gets at times. That was a lot of fun to watch. And then I actually would end up liking too a lot is where I said some of the characters were wasted, and I wish he was on screen a little bit more. You do have John Bernthal in there, and I really liked his character. He was kind of, I think he was like a head of security, kind of a hitman, but he was kind of this like douchey, cocky kind of hitman, and it was kind of just a different twist on that kind of a character that I liked. And it was so different because the last time I had seen him, you know, he was the Punisher on Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix. It was just such an opposite character doing similar things, I guess. So it was just kind of funny and weird to see that kind of flipped on its head. But overall, guys, like I said, there were some problems. This movie, it's not a perfect movie. It's not maybe as good as I was hoping it would be. But I had a lot of fun watching this. And while there were some certain problems here and there, I think other aspects kind of leaned me the other direction to really like this movie. The action was great. I had a lot of fun watching it. Really, I was purely entertained. And I found the character of Christian Wolf so interesting that I wanted to know more. And I just love seeing him on screen. And there's a lot more humor to this movie than you expect, partially because of who he is and kind of the way he functions, that I thought the humor was worked out really well. And the last thing I'll say, too, is this movie could have gotten real preachy about, you know, autism and treating people with autism correctly and like human beings. And while that's all, we definitely need to put that message out there. It's when you start hitting me over the head with that message that I can get a little annoyed. And this movie didn't do it. At the end, they kind of go through it just a little bit, but there was a really good line that I thought really encapsulated the whole idea, and it was the fact that people with autism are different. They're not less than. So, sure, they're different than anybody who doesn't have autism, but that doesn't mean they're less of a person in any way. And I thought they actually did a really good job with Christian Wolf's character demonstrating that. So that's another notch in the belt that I really like this movie. So for me, The Accountant, I'm going to give this movie a 71%. It's a fun action movie. Plot was a little overly complicated. They still left a lot of doors open, which would hope and lead me to believe that we're going to get more of it, because I really would like to see some more of Christian Wolf because he's such an interesting character. So for me, it's a 71% for The Accountant.
Some of my clients are quite dangerous.
Why would your clients follow you? You're an accountant. We have to go to the police.
Police can't protect you.
Alright guys, there you have it. That's my review of the movie. Make sure you're following me on Twitter @news for all the latest in the world of movies, and we will see you back here next time.